Hi, my name is Pat Kenny. I'm with Great Point Productions, and I'm putting together this video for a couple reasons. One is I want to explain the technique that I use to do life interviews. And second, hopefully I can pass on some tips and tricks because you may not have the wherewithal to do a professionally produced life story, but you can use some of my experience to produce your own life story or capture someone's life story. I think there's a couple different reasons why you want to capture a life story. First is it allows the person that's being interviewed to tell their own story in their own words, on video, with their own voice, and from the heart. I think that seeing someone tell a story and going through a list of questions that really uncovers their life story is very meaningful, and it can be passed on to future generations. Everyone has been through a lot in their life. They've had obstacles, they've had major decision points, they've had stories about maybe how they met their spouse, about their career. And I think that this is a way for you to explain some of the decisions that you've made, some of the successes that you've had, some of the obstacles that you've faced, and it can encourage future generations to go and use their God-given gifts to be industrious and explore the world and take chances and have conviction. And through your life story, you can point to different examples of where you've had challenges and where you faced obstacles and how you overcame them. I think also that in the past, we never really had the vehicle or the media to preserve someone's life story. Yes, we have older video and film, but often it's not accessible. Where when you create a life story that's digital on video, then it can exist in perpetuity and be preserved for generations to come. Your video may only be watched by a couple different people over the next 10 years, but the fact is it exists. I'll give you an example of a life story that I would have loved to have heard about. I never knew either of my grandfathers. And if I had their life story documented on video, it would be something that I could really learn from and cherish, and I could pass along to future generations so they could understand their family history, their lineage, the struggles and the accomplishments that they had when they were going through life. And to hear that with their own voice and their own image, professionally produced, is really a gift that you can give your family. So what I'd like to talk to you about is the process that I use in shooting these life story interviews. It really all starts with a list of questions. So I'll send you a list of questions ahead of time, and these questions are designed to go chronologically through your life and help me bring out your life story. But there are certain things that you may want to emphasize or de-emphasize, and that's fine. You have complete editorial control over the questions. So for example, you may not have children, so asking questions about your children may not be relevant. Another thing is that I'll ask you, what role did religion play in your life? And you may not be a religious person, so maybe that doesn't have any applicability in the video. You have complete control over the questions. You can see the questions ahead of time, and you can emphasize or de-emphasize questions accordingly. Another thing is that I'll set up a pre-call interview. And this is where I'll spend time with you and I'll learn really the themes that you want to convey in the video. What are some important things that you really want to pass on to future generations? After the pre-interview is when we schedule the on-site interview, and this is where I will come to your home. So typically I bring 2 cameras and some minimal lighting, and we set up in an environment where we can make you feel comfortable and capture your life story. So if you noticed here, the background is blurry, so you don't really have to worry about making sure that your place is perfect. We just want a nice environment where you're comfortable, where you feel comfortable telling your life story. So let's talk about sound. Both you and I will be wearing lavalier mics. These are microphone systems that work wirelessly. They clip onto your belt, and then you'll fish this wire through your shirt and it will come up near your mouth, and this allows us to get professional audio. So when we shoot the interview, there's a lot of interruptions that can happen. For example, the landscaper may show up with a leaf blower, or the phone may ring, or there could be someone that knocks on the door. These are all things that naturally happen, and it's no problem. We just keep the camera rolling. Another thing that can happen is that I don't ask the question in a way that makes sense, or I need to rephrase the question that I ask. Or you may not be able to recollect a certain date or a certain person's name in your story. All of those things are no problem. We can do a lot of things in the editing to make the video very smooth and very professional. So I'd like to address security and privacy. It's a very important thing for me in doing these life story interviews. And I want to ensure you that you and whoever you choose are the only people that will ever see the video. I work with you privately and securely to share the content back and forth when we're collaborating. So only you can see the raw video. You make decisions on what gets omitted and what stays in the video. And you're the only one that decides on who to share the video with. So an element that can really help tell the story is when I can gather photos to marry into the video to help tell the story. Before I show up on site, if you can have your photo albums out, I can take high-resolution pictures of the photos without you having to remove the photos from the photo album. I can also go around your home and take pictures of anything you have in picture frames. I also have the ability to search the internet for any content that you want to incorporate into the video. There's a lot of information in photos on social media, and there's Ancestry.com where I can go and download these different images to help tell the story and incorporate into the video. So when the video is complete, I'll share with you the video in two different formats. One is a hyperlink that you can share electronically with friends and family. You can do this privately and securely. The other thing I'll do is I'll send you 3 different USB drives. These are little storage devices that you can use to share with additional people, friends and family. And also maybe you want to take one of these USB drives and put it in a safety deposit box or a safe for additional safekeeping. The electronic link that I send you can often be used to display your video on a large screen TV. So for example, if you have a smart TV, you can display the video on that TV, and you may want to have a premiere where you get your friends and family together to watch the video. Or you may want to share it in a way that allows people to watch the video on a large format TV. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I really enjoy learning about people's life stories. Many times I'm just as nervous as you are in asking the questions, but together we create something that's very special that can be passed along for generations to come.